And we're back with Ariana, and we're going to be working a little bit more. Now we've already talked about fraction and decimal equivalencies, what decimals represent the same value as a fraction. Now we're going to be looking at this beaded number line. So to get started, Ariana, how many beads do you think are on this beaded number line?
Well, I think there's there's here, so here's a stop,
Mm-hmm.
and here is a start.
Okay.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right?
So since there's 10 of those.
10.
Uh-huh.
So we could count by 10, so we can go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 7, that's what it's 6, 80, 90, 100.
Okay, so there's 100 beads on there, right?
Yep.
This is how a beaded number line works. So if you were just going to show me 34 beads, can you make a gap for me after 34 beads?
Yes. So we can make our little
There's the end of 30, right?
So yeah, so here's 30 right here. And
Where?
then right here. The
So
first white bead
10 plus 10,
is 20.
so that would be 30?
Yes, 30.
So that's 20, and then right after 20 comes 30?
Yeah.
Let's count and check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
21, 22, 23, 24. Oh, wait. So 30
So
is...
the 20 is actually like after those two groups of 10. So this would be, this is how much?
20.
Okay, so show me 30.
30 is right here.
So this is 30 beads.
No, that's not 30.
Well, I want you to slide over 30 beads for me. Okay,
There.
so if that's 30 beads,
30 beads right here.
show me 34 beads. Good. Show me 50 beads. Show me 59 beads. Okay, so now that we're pretty good at using this beaded number line with whole numbers, I'm going to make it harder on you because you know that's what I like to do. Challenge Ariana. Okay, so now I'm going to take these off.
6.
You're still going to be able to think about it because I know you like thinking. Here's how we're going to do it. My start is going to represent 0. The end is going to represent 1 whole. Okay? So now, if this is 1 whole line of beads, instead of 100 beads, I'm thinking of it as 1, then how much would just 1 bead equal?
1 bead will be not even a hole.
It's very small, right? Which one of these could
1
represent the value of just 1 bead? Or you can use the pictures, whichever one. Oh, so the first bead right here represents 1 what?
Hole.
100.
And I know that because 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, yes, another good 6, 70, 80, oops, 19,
Rub it with your finger.
80,
Mm-hmm.
90, 100, and 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, and 100.
So this 1 bead, can I do this so we can show our thinking? This first little bead represents 1/100th of our beaded number line.
Yes.
If the whole number line represents 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the decimal that matches, let's put that underneath too. There's your decimal pile. And you can put your model too.
We are going to look for 100th, and like I said, the first part of this video is that decimal is basically the number backwards.
And I kept saying I know it's 100th because the 1 is in what place?
The 100th.
The 100th place.
And also, if you could see, here, let me see it.
I'm recording you.
Okay. Well, You see?
Oh, it does look like 100 backwards. I see. Okay, that's a cool way to think about
See?
it.
0.01, 1.00. $1.
Okay, so let's put it over here.
Dollar.
Is 100th and $1, is that the same value?
Yep.
Is it? I thought my whole line is $1. 100th is like how much?
Oh, no. You tricked me there.
That's what I do. 100th is like how much?
It's like 1. It's basically just 1.
Like 1 penny, right?
Yep, 1 penny.
Find me your model for your 100th and put it underneath.
Because you just told me the answer.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Okay, well, you tell me now.
Because you said that this right here is 1 out of 100. 1 out of 100.
So that's 100th, right? Okay, so I think the next logical thing to do would be to find how much of the beaded number line represents a tenth.
1/10.
Show me 1/10 of the beaded number line.
Really got me there. No, you didn't. That was easy.
And you can space them out any way that helps you make sense of it. So if one bead is 1/10, I mean 100th, where would a tenth of that line be?
Right here.
Okay, how do you know?
Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
How many of these groups would make my whole number line?
What do you mean?
Like if I counted this as one group of 10, that's 1, 2, 3, keep
easy.
going like that. So how many groups?
1 group, 2 group, 3 group, 4 group, 5 group, 6 group,
It's a beautiful 6, don't change it.
7 group,
Mm-hmm.
8 group. Oopsies.
9 groups.
And another one.
Well, that's the 10th group, right? So you're making some connections between your whole numbers and your fractions, right? So if this is one group out of 10 groups, then this group here, I'm going to move this. I need the marker, girl.
Marker, come right on up.
Come over here to see if you agree with me. All right. So if one bead is 100th,
One little itty bitty teeny weeny itsy bitsy little tiny
this is 100th,
one
right?
little bead.
I'm going to move my 0 over so this looks right. So that bead right there is 100th, right? So we're saying this group represents how much?
10.
A tenth. So I'll put my tenth up here, and I'll let's do it right after that group. We can put a tenth here. Does that make sense?
Yep. Hi.
Okay, so find the matches for the tenth and put them on top.
1/10.
And
Hey.
what? Because we're going to need it to write fractions, that's all.
I know. I don't mind.
I'm glad. All right, so the next thing I want us to find, let me look at my fractions.
Wait, let me see something.
No?
Aww.
Co-producer. What fraction is this?
1/2.
Where would half of the beaded number line be?
Half?
Yep.
You're not going to do that.
I'm not? Okay, tell me your thinking.
Okay. So, as you know, I'm going to be step on right here. All right. So, as you know, this is 1.
One what? Because we're thinking decimals, right? The whole.
1/10.
Okay.
2/10. 3/10.
You want to put the tenth on bottom like a fraction?
Nah. 5/10. 6/10. 7/10.
She's obsessed with her sixes looking beautiful.
9/10. 10/10.
Okay.
Wait a second. Now, as you can see, right here. What is half of 10? Well, that's a good question you have asked, Mrs. Steppa. What is half of 10? Easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, we could probably stop at 5. Let's do the stop right here.
Okay.
Right?
So that would be 5/10, right?
Yep, right there, 5/10.
So write it as a fraction underneath. So that's
you
a
said
decimal.
fraction. Oh,
Yep.
wait.
But don't erase that. That's correct. Underneath it, write it as a.
There we go.
What's another way I could say that?
5 over 10.
Because we didn't start with that. What do we start with?
1/2.
But you know, what do you know about 1/2 and 5/10?
Because.
Aha!
Yeah.
So put your line where my stop is, so I can put my fractions here. Not, I'm gonna put it right after it. So after the 5/10. Okay.
That's nothing. That's
Okay.
just a squeeze.
So go ahead and put your fraction and your decimal in your model. After, that's half of my line, right?
Yep. Decimal and multiple
Okay.
parts.
So think of a sandwich, but draw a rectangle. I don't want to be misleading. So do your half, and then fourths. Okay. So we know if we have half and we cut a half in half, we get a fourth, right?
Yes.
So where do you think your fourth would go? If you have half of your beaded number line, what's half of a half? Where would that be on your beaded number line? Half of 50 cents. How many quarters makes 50 cents? Or use your picture. Find your picture of the fourth that we already did. How many hundredths? Because those are pennies, right?
2, 3, 4, 4.
But count the shaded ones.
25.
Okay, so what's half of 50?
25.
Okay, so that's half of
Oh,
a...
I know that because look. All right. Here's
Put it on the number line.
No, wait. No, I want to show you something. All right. So you see.
So extra. Yes,
This is
go.
some extra math now.
I know, a little crazy
Alright.
math.
So, what's 5 plus 5? Good question, Mrs. Steffa. It's 10. Yep. And 2 plus 2.
4.
Yep. Good job. And add 1. What's
Add one more 10. 5 tens.
boom?
Okay, so now show me where it would go on the number line, because that's what I want to see. Can you put it on a number line? Those 3 pieces all represent the same amount, but where would that be on your number line? How can you figure out half of 50? So you told me that 25 cents in that model, it looks like 25 hundredths, right? I know it's in front of the half, like what you're saying. I'm gonna take these down so I don't get confused, but it's okay.
Okay.
So here's my halfway point. Here's my 0. Is this about halfway between, or is it closer to this?
Halfway in between.
Is this halfway if I took this?
Yeah.
If I cut this part in half.
Look.
But this is the halfway point. I'm trying to find this point. For this one, it's easier for me to think of the decimal first, because I can find 25 hundredths. If this is 1/100th, where's 25 hundredths? It's going to be over here somewhere, right? 25 hundredths. Wouldn't that be 25 of these little beads? Would it? So let's find it. Let's find the exact point.
Right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
This is how many beads?
Right here.
But that's 10 and 5. Is that 25 or is that 15?
No. Oh, wait a second.
It's okay.
Now.
Find me 25 hundredths.
So this is 20, and then we gotta add 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So if that, I'm just going to make a little gap. Let's draw your line and then put your 25 hundredths. Don't circle this because this doesn't have anything to do with that. Put this over here.
Mrs. Steffa.
What? You know you have an eraser you can use.
It's all over there.
It's like a step and you move 100 miles an hour, so.
No, that's a car.
Now this is making me think 3 holes. I understand you're counting your tenths, but other people that watch the video, I don't want it to confuse them. Okay? It made sense at that when you were explaining it, but now it looks like some extra stuff up here. All right, so I got all my points for a half. I got my 4th. I got my 10th. I got my 100th. What's left? These two, the 8th. Let's do the 8th next.
Okay, so these are all just like
What is this one? Is this one the 3rd or the 8th?
the 8.
Okay, get your fraction from the end of the beaded number line. Now, what do you know about a 4th and an 8th?
I know that 4 is half of 8.
1/8 is half of
4.
1/4, right? So here's 0, here's 1/4. About halfway, it would be about right where? Okay, I'll take that. That's pretty good. Because here's your 10th. So there's a 10th, right? Here's a 10th. Ari, pick it up.
I know.
This is how you miss stuff in math class. You're so smart, but you miss stuff because you're being a little extra. I need you to focus, okay?
I am.
Come here. So this is a 10th, right? Then there's 2 hundredths. Do you see this?
Yes.
So here's the 2 hundredths, and technically I would need half of this 3rd one. It doesn't have to be exact, but probably right about there. So that is your that. The last one we need is 1/3.
Yep. 1/3.
And for the 3rd, I either have to split my whole line into 3 equal parts, or I can think of money.
Money.
How much cents is a 3rd? How much cents is that?
33 cents.
Okay, show me with the beads. How 33 cents is like 33 what?
100.
Okay.
Wait. That was right.
Yep. So it's going to be more than a 4th, right? But less than a half. And draw your line at the end of the 33 hundredths. Yep. Perfect.